Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Dishonored Definitive Edition Complete Stealth Pacifist walkthrough. And this is mission 4, also known as the Royal Physician. And this mission is a bit different from the ones before. In this mission you're not supposed to assassinate anyone, instead we are moving up in the world and we are going over to kidnapping. Because your primary target is to abduct Dr. Anton Sokolov. And Dr. Sokolov, that name may sound familiar, and that's because he is the artist behind the paintings you can collect in this game for the trophy known as Art Collector or Art Dealer, can't remember which. And he also makes the red elixirs that you use to refill your health bar. They are an elixir that cures people from the rat plague, and you use it as health potions, basically. And I quite enjoy this level. Not for any specific reason, I just think it's quite fun. It's medium short level in this game, and this is an interesting use of geography. A bit Rose Red inspired as I run up a staircase that leads nowhere. I have no idea why anyone would put a staircase that just leads up to floor. But anyway, we are going up here because I'm gonna pick up a whale oil tank so I can power up the minecart and progress further in this mission. And this is one of those interesting moments, because this game, as you know, is stealth based. You're supposed to keep quiet and stay out of people's sight. But for some reason, this minecart, which squeaks and creaks and there are sparks flying and all that good stuff, no one reacts. All the guards patrolling down in the street, and there are quite a few of them, at least 3 or 4, no one hears a single thing, and no one reacts to the steel door suddenly opening and the minecart starts rolling with no one in it. And that is one of those because of video game moments. But I'm not gonna dwell on that for too long. I just find it quite fun that people are conveniently deaf when the gameplay forces you to do it that way. And in this mission they also introduce you to a new hazard or a new obstacle, which are I'm not sure about the official name for them. I just call them the high voltage spools. They work similarly to the wall of sparks, in the fact that they will give you a deadly jolt if you get too close to them. But unlike the wall of sparks that you have to try and pass through, they will react to you coming too close, so they can take you down at a distance of a few meters. And when you start getting too close to it, you will hear a buzzing sound like it's gathering up energy. So be very careful when you so you don't get too close to them, because they will kill you. And we move through this little apartment and onto these street lamps, and we see the new order through these flags. And I assume that that's the new leader's flags. I really hope that it's not the Empress's flags, because they seem very Third Reich inspired, with the red background and the big eagle-like bird. And this is one of those awkward moments, because it can be quite hard to do that blink over to the second wire, because it's quite hard to see how the reticle is lining up with it. And now we are gonna do a jumping blink. I recommend you do a safety save before you attempt this, because I'm gonna jump and blink over to that roof so the guards don't spot me. And you're gonna have to be quite quick around this corner, because if the guards are looking in that direction as you do it, they may spot you when you land. And we take out this whale oil tank because there is one of those high energy spools up here and a guard, but he for some reason doesn't react to it powering down, and he doesn't see anything, because sometimes their sight cones are very restrictive in this game. And I don't think it has anything to do with the difficulty I'm playing it on. I recorded this walkthrough on normal difficulty, mainly because there are no difficulty related trophies in this game or achievements, and also I recorded it as a 5-hour grinding session. And I was thinking about doing it on very hard, but I assumed it would take a bit longer. I think all my strategies are applicable to the higher difficulties as well. But as I said, I recorded it in one continuous session. It was the weekend that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was released, so I wanted to record and edit this as fast as possible so I could focus on playing the new Zelda game. And sadly I will not be covering Zelda on my channel, and that is because of a few different reasons. The main reason being the fact that it is a huge game and it's not linear at all, as all open world games are, or as non-open world games are, whichever is most correct. So if I were to cover it, I would have to cover certain objectives or certain missions, and I think there's already 2 million videos of that on YouTube. And I decided when I started my channel that I will not cover Nintendo related content. Instead I will focus on games for either PlayStation or Xbox. But this is the Dunwall Bridge, and before you start moving over it, I recommend you try to get to the highest point of the bridge for the trophy. I think it's called King of the World, if you're a trophy hunter like I am. And as soon as you trigger that, I think it's triggered, or it is triggered by reaching the highest point of the bridge, which is the tower before you move over to this side. And also at start of the mission, Sam instructs you that you have to disable 2 spotlights, or some spotlights that are facing towards the bay. And unless you take out these 2 whale oil tanks and disable them, Sam won't be able to get to your rendezvous point, and you're gonna have to either reload a save if you have one close to this area, or backtrack through half the level almost. So don't forget to do that. And there's one guard down here to the right, and I was a bit anxious about the possibility that there was a guard to the left. Sometimes there is a guard standing by the staircase, so be very cautious if you go down here to take him out. And the reason for me doing that is that we're gonna slide down the cables on the other side, and I don't want to get spotted by him while I'm exposed out in the open. So I just take another quick look to see that the guard isn't where I thought he was, and then you can get over here and you'll slide down a little bit because it's so steep, so you won't be able to get a grip, and just blink over to this little guardhouse. And before you blink down from the guardhouse, of course, take a quick look around, because there are a few guards patrolling here. As soon as he turns away, we can continue onwards, and I do a double blink just for safety. Another thing that is good to know, when you go back to your hub in between missions, the Hunt Pits pub, your blink will regenerate. So if you don't have any blue elixirs, so you can refill it manually. Don't worry, it will refill when you go back to the Hound Pits pub, because you go to sleep when you get there in between missions, and that refills your mana bar. So in this area we're gonna try to get over to this little guardhouse. Once again, do the jumping blink, since the reach of blink level 1 isn't that far, so you're gonna have to rely a lot on jump blinks. And jump blinks are quite easy to do, but something you should be aware of is the fact that since you use, I think it's the L2 button to blink, there is a split second delay when you release the button, since it is a trigger button. So it's on a spring. So if you're gonna do a jump blink and you know that it's a really slim window for when the reticle will be in the correct place, be sure to release the button just a split second before the reticle reaches the place where you want it to be. And I'm talking about a 1/10 of a second maybe. And the easiest way to make sure it works is to always safety save before you do a jump blink. But we disabled, or we turned off that big mill wheel or whatever it is, and so we can get to this whale oil tank and disable the wall of sparks and continue onwards. So just blink up on this little vent, and once again check around. I was thinking about maybe blinking over the fence. That can be a good thing to do. If you blink just over it, you will end up on the other side of the wall, and you will be sure to not be in anyone's line of sight. But you also take some damage because it's quite a drop, and if your aim is a bit off, you may end up landing on the spikes and take a big deal of damage and risk getting spotted. So I prefer to blink in through the gate and try to end up behind the wall that way. And now we are almost at Dr. Sokolov's house. I'm just trying to get up on the roofs so we can get to him as easy as possible, because there are some guards down on the streets. There are none up here except for one patrolling just outside the room where he is. And if you want to, you can try to get into his mansion, but if you do, I would recommend you to be very cautious. If you're going for a complete stealth and pacifist run, always keep it as minimalistic as possible. Because if you are going for the platinum or complete gamer score on this game, you're gonna have to do 2 playthroughs. You cannot take all the trophies or achievements in one run, because one of them is linked to getting a high chaos ending, and one of them is linked to getting a low chaos ending. And also there is trophy for not killing anyone, and there are also trophies for killing people in several different ways, and some of them are quite creative and quite brutal, to be honest. But this guard, as you can see, I shot a sleep dart in him, and just for safety's sake, I pick up his body and move it a bit further in on the walkway. And I did that for 2 reasons. One is that if a gush of wind can come and blow him down, which doesn't happen, but I'm a bit paranoid like that, and also I didn't want to run any risk of him getting spotted by some guard maybe going out, stretching, looking up, and finding him through some freak accident. And I decided to open the cell door there. It doesn't affect the game in any way. It will not count as being spotted. It will not give you good karma or anything. It just feels better that way. Because she has been kidnapped by Sokolov. I don't know why he's keeping her in there. I think if you talk to her, maybe she'll tell you. I can't quite remember. But since we are taking him with us, she runs the risk of starving to death, and that wouldn't be very nice. And Sam is just around the corner. Before you blink down, take a quick look to see so there aren't any guards watching, and we can jump down. And here we have Sam. And we have now committed kidnapping on top of all the other things we have done. So Sam will ask you if you want to go back to the Hound Pits pub, and we want to do that. And you can see, once again, I have never been detected, no one has been killed, and everything is well. And there is clean across the slate once more. But I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.